All right. Welcome back to another week of Scotch Hour. I am Noah.
And I am Jesse.
All right, Jesse. Well, hopefully you had a great week last week. I think we have another great edition here coming up. We went to, start off with, we're going to do the Talisker Distillers edition, right?
That's right. We got this wonderful, tasty treat.
All right, and then from there, we have our shout outs and get it togethers. I'm sure Biden will be a reoccurring theme here.
Who knows? There might be 33 billion reasons. Who knows?
And then from there, we went to a really cool restaurant called Masha and the Bear. And we'll finish up with our smarter challenge of the evening. Basically, movies that kind of define friendships.
Scotch Reviewed.
Talisker Distillers edition. This, of course, from the Isle of Skye, aged 10 years and then finished in ex-Amoroso sherry casks. Said to be a little bit more well-rounded and balanced than the normal Talisker. We've done the Talisker 10 most recently on our Talisker lineage of scotches for the James Bond episode, Best of Bond.
That was good, though. That was so tasty.
That was a good one. Well, reportedly, this one is going to be even better. And the bottle already does not disappoint. Neither does the box. And price-wise, it's not cheap, but it's not terrible.
Yeah. So I think this one we got at Costco for $99.99. No, $79.99. That's what it was.
That's pretty inexpensive, actually, because I think that is
like $20 cheaper than most other places.
Yeah, I think that's $18 cheaper in Total Wine right now, which means $20 cheaper with tax. Wait for tomorrow, the next Biden inflation, $40. Just keeps adding up.
And this this design here on the label and the box, this is the updated design, right? This is like, did they just update their labels and stuff?
They've been updating a lot of their labels. They have not gotten to the distillers yet. So they did update the traditional Talisker Storm and then updated the Talisker 10. We have not been able to find one of the limited release Talisker 2021 editions, as we did find the Lagavulin and the Cardew, but we still have our eyes open, hunting for that delectable treat.
Nice. I can't wait to, hopefully we can find one of those.
Yeah, I hope so too. I don't want to have to pay the $400 markup for a $100 bottle. Originally started as a $100 bottle. That was a year again by inflation. Who knows? 33 billion.
Thanks, Biden.
Yeah. I opened up the pipeline again. No, you didn't open up the pipeline. You just said they could start creating new ways to bring old oil.
All right, so with Talisker, they were founded back in 1830?
1830, yes, by two brothers who leased the property and then eventually turned it into a distillery. It didn't take them that long. Who would wait that long? But yeah, right there on the Isle of Skye. It's an interesting thing because it's Hugh and Kenneth Moraskell leased the land from the Clan MacLeod. Man, you can't get any better than releasing it from the Clan. It was from the Highlander.
How did you pronounce Hugh and Kenneth's last name?
MacAskill.
MacAskill?
That's just a guess, by the way.
That's a good guess, because I would probably say something similar. I probably would say Mac Askill.
That sounds pretty similar. Mac Askill.
Mac as kill. Mac as kill. I mean, that's the way it looks. I mean, you look at spelling.
Yeah, and what's really crazy is as we were doing our research, we found out they were leasing this land annually in the second half of the 19th century for basically 23 pounds a year. 23 pounds a year plus a 10-gallon cask of their best scotch.
I think the coolest part about that is that they're giving up some of their scotch for the rent.
I mean, I don't know what the cost transition was, but the fact that was desired enough to be part of the bargain, that's pretty cool.
That's what I'm saying. That's probably a really cool, cool factoid there. And apparently they source their barley from Muir of Ord or something like that in the Highlands.
Yeah, in the Highlands. And then their water source. Again, I keep thinking back to the guy at Total Wine who was trying to feed me a line of water crap, saying that there was this water shortage and that's why they didn't have Scotch on the shelves. No, it's a little bit different. It's transportation. But they source their water from one of 14 underground springs from Hawk Hill. So, I mean, again, a lot of these distilleries have their own water source and they are very different than others. I'm finding more and more interest and respect for that unique source of something that is ultimately finite.
Well, I think it kind of comes down to even like with wines and stuff, the even like the ground and everything like that, the soil that they grow, not with wines is great, but here it's going to be the barley and stuff like that. But just the little microcosms from each little separate area and water source, that'll definitely make a change in how things taste or smell.
I would be curious to find out just how much of Muir of Ord's income, that little village's income, comes just from their barley.
That would be interesting to find out.
Find out that that's their version.
All right, if there's a listener out there, that's your homework. You can put that there in the comments.
Yeah, let us know.
And from my understanding too, Talisker is the oldest distillery on the Isle of Skye.
Yeah.
All right, anything else you want to add about it before you start pouring? Or
no, man, I'm ready to start pouring. This is going to be fun and delicious.
Fun and delicious.
Maybe a little.
Figure looking good.
Nom, 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 nom. All right. So as we peel back the tie here, pull off the top. I do like the Talisker wooden, good tight seal.
All right. Well,
immediately delicious. The nose on this already not disappointing. That
looks like nice color.
Dude, I know you're enjoying the sights of her.
From the back, she looks fine. From the front, she looks like a predator.
Oh shit! I think she heard you. Real life events from May 2nd, 2022.
All right.
It's true. She looks like a damn predator from the front.
And she probably heard you. Cheers.
Cheers.
And we're going to cut and do our tasting now. All right, so this Talisker Distillers Edition, it's you said it's 45.8?
45.8 ABV.
All right, it is actually really good. Is it double distilled or something like that? Double maturated or
double distilled / maturated in ex-bourbon casks and then finished in that Amoroso sherry cask.
Okay. So I guess I would explain some of the flavors I got here. I do think I'll start off here with the bouquet on it. So here, I think you still get the slight bit of the Isle of Skye characteristic of Talisker, where you get a bit of of the sea there. Here I put down in my notes as driftwood, because I think you get I got like a little bit of hints of the wood and a little bit of the sea. So so that's why I kind of went with driftwood. And then I got hints of toffee and citrus on the bouquet. So I think it makes a really nice aroma to it, to where you get like that nice sea musky. I'm not sure musky is even the right word there, but just definitely like that sea wood type of smell to it, along with toffee and that citrus. When it comes to the actual palate, I get a hit with initial fruit on the citrus side, but more like pineapple, with that once again that sea breeze or a coral type of flavor, along with hints of basil and thyme. And then to finish it off on the finish, it is a long lingery, smoky, peaty finish, which I do enjoy.
I do too.
I mean, it's not as good as like what I would get normally from like an Oban, but
I don't know. This is a pretty good challenger.
It is a good challenger, but I do like the Oban a little bit more, and the color. Once again, I do like the color. To me, it's like more of the darker orange gold color. It's a really nice, or very deep copperish maybe. I love the color to it. The ABV at 45.8 is really not all that bad considering like we just tried I think it was like last week or a couple weeks ago we tried
40,
a 40, and that seemed to be much hotter on the palate when you first opened it.
There was some spice on that young Scotch.
But this is definitely not your grandpappy Scotch, I would say. It's a definitely great Scotch. It's something that I could see myself drinking on a nice summer evening with sitting by like a fire and maybe one of those fire pits and having a nice cigar with this and just shooting the shit with a good friend.
Sounds like what should be done. I don't know, after the show on May 2nd, 2022. Wow, just a thought.
Just a thought.
Just a tip. Just for a minute. See how it feels.
So that's kind of like what I got going on here.
All right. So for me, a lot of similarities. I love this medium to deep brass color. Definitely hints towards some real bold flavor. Although that color can be deceiving, sometimes she doesn't have a tan, but she's still fun. Who knows? For the nose, there's this grapey citrus, fresh citrus, the citrus that's not sharp or sour, but sweet. The Sultana citrus clean sweetness. And for anyone who wants to know what the Sultana is, it's basically a small light brown raisin, seedless of course, that's usually used in desserts, puddings and cakes, and adds a nice flavor. Doesn't take it one way or the other. Definitely not sour, not too sweet, but but she still does take it. So Sultana, there's one of your words for that light brown grape that gives this. I think it does truly give this amazing addition to the flavor, which as it's had a minute to sit. The taste, the palate has transitioned from citrus at the front to this toasted, toasted nut flavor that then is followed by the citrus and the finish. And I am digging this finish. She's not looking for a 2-minute traverse. She's looking for a cross country ride here. Toasted, malted, toasted nuts flavor with that hint of ripe citrus.
Better than blue nuts.
Yeah, nobody wants that. I don't even know what those are. But that transcends into this very rich, balanced sweetness of dark cocoa and vanilla. And I don't know that I normally find those two together where you get the dark cocoa or dark chocolate and the vanilla in there. But it lends to this beautiful, long, balanced, sweet finish. Again, 45% ABV. Who could tell? It is not hot at all. The spices are just right. The citrus is just right. The Scotch Noah was talking about moments ago where it had some heat at a 40% ABV. That was the Jura 10, an island south of Skye off the western coast of Scotland. And man, this is great. I can see this going with carrot cake. I can see this going with tiramisu. I can see this going...
Tiramisu might be a stretch for me.
No way, man. The cocoa in here with the vanilla. I think it would be a great pairing.
I don't know. I didn't really pick up a whole lot of cocoa and vanilla, but that's just...
It's in the finish. It's not up front. Up front, you still get that citrus and that toasted malt and toasted nut, but the cocoa's in the finish. So as you're rounding through your lady fingers and your layers of tiramisu, made right, by the way, I think this is a great addition. For me, though, it's perfect for carrot cake. Or if you were at the restaurant we visited for this week's restaurant review, honey cake. You guys, anyone watching this show, if you're out there looking for a scotch to bring to a party, a lady party, a guy party, this isn't too hot. It is definitely full of a long, lingering, smoky, peaty finish. Not for the mild, not for the meek. There are other scotches better for that. You're going to pay a little bit more for this one. Well worth it. Bring it to the high stakes poker game, anything more than pennies, nickels, and quarters, or to a bachelor party, or to a great night with a buddy at a fire pit when one of you at least doesn't have to work the next day.
It's time for our shout outs.
Any shout outs this week?
Oh, shout out. My first shout out is going to Tailgate. Once again, we had to revisit it. We've been going back to some of these older restaurants, especially after the West Main Tap House with the disappointment there. And this evening, Tailgate did not disappoint with the food. The burger was still spot on. Nothing left me wanting food-wise. So it was great. And you can tell they're getting into the summer months. They're starting to pick up speed. They had a lot of new staff, nothing wrong with that, but that's that's okay. And the food is really what I went there for. Is great.
So yeah, I would say I'll jump on your tailcoats there and go with the Tailgate as a shout out, because on Monday nights that is a total steal. Those burgers, like the amount of burger you get and the fries, that dish, for like $6.99 is a total steal. And you walk away, like normally, like when I go to a place, unless they really have like Heineken on tap, I usually just drop down to like a Coors Light or maybe a Michelob Ultra. But even like that, I walk away with my Coors Light and a beer for like $11.
Dude, yeah, you're literally talking about McDonald's money there.
Exactly. And if they did have like a Heineken, I would spend the extra money to drink a Heineken on tap, but they don't have it. But in any case, like their food delivers every time.
Yeah, it has not let me down once. Much like Talisker Scotch, this one's the best of the lot we've tried as of late, for sure. And it delivers, makes me happy, does not leave me wanting. They do have my Voodoo Ranger IPA on tap, so always good there. I got one more shout out.
So do I.
All right. Hopefully I'm not stealing your shout out then.
Go ahead.
All right. So my shout out goes to Elon Musk for sealing the deal. And then I can only hope and think he's going to be running for presidency, and he's setting a stage for a true platform of freedom of speech. And B, I just love his smart ass tweets he's sending out. Did you see the one about AutoZone?
I didn't see the one about AutoZone, but I did see the one about AOC.
Yeah, dude, they just keep coming out. So the one today is, next I'm going to buy AutoZone and then hire people who know anything about cars. And you got to think about this, because it's partially true. It's not fully true. You've gone there, or I've gone there a few times, and there are some guys that know some things about cars. But B, on the flip side, what is he again doing? He is masterfully supporting Tesla, which anybody who owns a Tesla doesn't work on that thing themselves. They take it to a shop to get repaired. I don't even know, does Tesla sell parts to AutoZone?
I have no idea.
So it's like this zing and zap over to anyone who's driving a natural car. But at the same time, just like how do you feel as an AutoZone employee? Well, you're talking about probably close to 1/1,000,000th of the population. Not too worried about that in the next candidacy.
Probably not. I'm not even sure if he can even run for president of the United States. I'm not sure if both his parents were both American.
Maybe he's going to do what Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't.
Or maybe he'll just do it Obama style and fake a birth certificate.
He can buy one for $1 trillion. I'm sure of that.
I'm sure. All right, so my shout out goes to Nicolas Cage.
Oh, snap.
Like, the guy has been kind of like, he hasn't like done like too many great movies as of late. Probably
Dude.
For like a few years. I never saw the movie Pig. It just didn't look very interesting.
I don't even know what that is.
That was like, I think his latest movie before the one that came out like last week or whatever.
Unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yes. But that movie right there, that's why I'm giving him a shout out. And I think that also will lead into our Smarter Challenge. But Yeah, in his latest movie that came out, either was it last week or 2 weeks ago, that unbearable weight of
I feel like it was just this past weekend, one week ago.
maybe, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it was 1 or 2 weeks, but it was hilarious. It was great. He did a phenomenal job playing himself.
Probably very truthfully too. We all have problems.
And Pedro Pascal, he did an incredible job too. I'm not sure how much of a credit he's going to get for his role in that movie, but his side of his role in there helps him make that movie.
For 1 second think he was the Mandalorian. Like when you watch this,
Yeah.
you know he is, but at the same, it's like, man, why were you the Mandalorian? Well, we all know why. That's the sweetest costume ever.
Correct. So, anyways, that's my other shout out is Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Hey, nice shoes. Can I try you one on? Want to swap? Like, I just gotta say, Nick Cage won in that deal, trading Vans for Gucci.
Well, I don't know, maybe.
Dude, there's no maybe. $60 van, $650 minimum Gucci shoe.
You're just looking at the pure value of the price, though. But I'm not saying like maybe
Talking about
there's
style, not just pure value and price. Style.
well, maybe people have different tastes, so maybe not.
I don't see you wearing Vans, bro.
No,
There you go.
but that doesn't. I know a lot of people who love Vans, and
I love Vans. I actually have
I
pairs
don't
of
even
Vans.
like Converse. And
I
there's
will,
people who
in
love
one
Converse.
heartbeat, trade any one of my multiple pair of Vans in the closet for a pair of Gucci's that fit. I also have multiple pairs of Gucci's. I would not trade them for a pair of Vans. Maybe if they were Nick Cage's.
Maybe I mean,
I'm not comfortable trading shoes with anyone, honestly.
honestly, I wouldn't trade
That's so
shoes
weird.
with. Yeah,
Like-
especially when they're like shoes that you don't wear socks with, like those loafer type of shoes. Like you're dealing with someone else's sweaty feet.
Yeah, with my Ferragamos, I couldn't trade them.
Any case, we'll get back to that movie later. But that was my shout out.
Yeah, I'm good with shout outs. I agree. That's about where it goes and ends, and it's great. I actually love what Elon Musk is doing. I think it's great for, truthfully, America right now.
All right, so what's your get it together?
I'm going to go back to, I don't know how to say it right now, but all of the Democrats, because I haven't seen yet, and maybe there is one, you guys can let me know that too. Give us some feedback. All of the Democrats that are saying Ukraine's not in trouble for the last 2 weeks, and yet now Biden is trying to send him $33 billion. I thought 800 million was a lot. Here's where America may not get offended. 33 billion is so much more than 800 million. It would only take 6 billion according to the World Health Organization to end hunger. Is that right? Is that what it was? Is that what they asked Elon Musk for? 6 billion. And now we're looking at giving 15 times that to Ukraine to support a war that's not a threat. Please, America, do the math.
Wait, you said 6 billion is what they asked for, right?
Yeah.
And you said he's giving them 33 billion.
33 billion.
Wouldn't that? It's not 15 times.
It's
more.
like 8 times. 6 times.
Okay.
Earn the interest.
I'm just trying to do the math in my head. I'm like,
You don't even
15
have to
times?
do the math. How many times did you stop world hunger? More than 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Here's the point of this equation, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't figure out how much more 800 million was to what 33 billion is, start doing the math to see how much money we're giving Ukraine to end a non-threatening war when 1/5 of that could have stopped world hunger, according to World Health Organization.
So, I mean, that kind of, I think, goes back to your last week's get it together with Biden. Whereas I think you're talking about.
This is actually going beyond Biden at this point. This is the whole Democratic Party, and anyone who isn't looking at their math. The math has changed. So first it was the science has changed. Now the math has changed.
Yeah, but I was going back to what you had said there. Like, we have like problems here at home. So how are we giving? First of all, how are we even giving 800 million, let alone 33 billion, to another country when we have we have like neighborhoods in cities like Baltimore or Philadelphia or San Francisco where there's areas that look like if it's part of a third world country.
Worse than a third world country because they don't know how high they could get melting styrofoam. Third world countries, at least they know that as our debris washes upon the shores.
So, is that your get it together?
Yeah, it goes back to Biden, $33 billion, 5.5 times what the World Health Organization said they needed, as Elon Musk proposed he might give them to end world hunger. And so we're not so much worried about world hunger as Americans or America, question mark. The question mark is I'm more worried about that than helping Ukraine.
Well, if you have war, you kill a bunch of people. That's less people you have to feed. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
I don't think that's what they're thinking at all. But let's just do this, America. Let's ask Biden not to give $33 billion to Ukraine and just to end world hunger 5.5 times.
We already know what they're doing with it. They're not going to end world hunger. It's all a big, huge money laundering system. The money goes over there, leaves oversight. And once it's not under oversight anymore, then it goes to these politicians, families, and stuff like that. And
I heard a crazy ass rumor that that's what Bitcoin is.
There's even a more weirder scenario to that. I'm not sure we should even go down that line tonight.
No, probably not. That's a future show. You need to invite Casey and others.
Like it involves like human trafficking and stuff. But
Sultana, a small brown grape, seedless grape.
My get it together. So for Biden and the 33 billion get it together. But my get it together is also going to be related to the Biden administration. And this happens to be with the Department of Misinformation, or what we really should just be calling it.
Anti-Twitter?
No. What we really should be calling it is the Ministry of Truth from the book 1984. The person who they tapped to head the this Department of Misinformation, I forget what the lady's name is, but she definitely has some mental health issues. I mean, just look at how badly she wears her makeup, and she tried to do the stupid Mary Poppins song. And
she sings like me. I can't knock her for that one.
And I'm not talking about her singing. But you can just tell, have you ever seen people who have some kind of mental disorder, and the way they put on their makeup, it looks like all fucked up.
Like this?
No, it looks like a fucking clown.
1984, Georgia Orwell. I'm sorry.
So in any case, but everything she had posted about Biden and the Russian stuff like that before she was tapped on to be this the head of the Ministry of Truth, everything she had posted on Twitter was all proven to be incorrect. So how are you going to put someone who's been incorrect about Russian collusion and all this other crap that she's been posting, and she was wrong about what she said about COVID-19. She was wrong about what she said about masks. She was wrong about what she said about the Russian collusion. How are you going to tap this person to be the supposed head or the head of the Department of Misinformation, unless she is really, of course, being the head of misinformation herself?
Maybe that's the whole point. It is insane to me to think about that.
So get it together.
At what point can we challenge the administration and her for the misinformation? Because Trump said one or two things people didn't like, and apparently everyone was trying to impeach that guy. But what about now?
There's a difference with Trump saying something. He from the stance of the government was not dictating what people can or cannot say.
Right, that's my point. At what point can we?
I think we can actually challenge it from the get-go because it actually goes against the Constitution.
So the more important question is, why aren't we asking for that? Where is this piece?
I think it's already in the works. I think Florida, Governor DeSantis and the Attorney General down there, I think they're already taking measures against that.
All right, well, get it together.
Yeah, get it together.
But George Orwell knew this.
I think anybody who read that book knew this was coming down.
What were we talking about? Like 38 years ago? 1984 to 2022?
Yeah, I was talking to some people in a chat room that I'm a part of. I'm like, I've been on this bandwagon since like at least since Art Bell was hosting Coast to Coast, AM Coast to Coast, and him talking about how the government was trying to stop him from saying stuff. And then even more so, I was on this whole bandwagon of about the government and watching out for things like this with when Obama's first go around.
You know, it is interesting too, because I think,
and even before that, the 9/11 stuff.
I think it is interesting because as youths, we were challenged to be politically correct in our speech. And there is a huge difference from being politically correct than there is from being politically manipulated, which is what most people are that are okay with what's going on with that.
Yeah.
Misinformation, literally. It's literally proven the opposite of some other people. Maybe Trump said the flu originated in China, and then they ultimately proved that accurate after they shut off a bunch of people's accounts for saying that.
Yep.
Again, I think there need to be ramifications.
I agree. Okay, so this week we went to Masha and the Bear. It's a Russian restaurant. It's located in Aurora off of Iliff in Peoria.
Exactly.
And it's inside of like a little like strip mall area, so it's not going to be like that easy to see like when you're driving on.
Yeah, I don't know that you can really see it from
the road.
Iliff. You can see it a little bit from Peoria, but way out there.
Yeah. So if you do find yourself in that area of Denver, I would highly recommend going to this restaurant. It's not a very big restaurant. When you walk in, it probably has like 1, 2, maybe like 5 or 6 tables. And I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger, but
that's what she said.
But it had some like really nice decor in there. The walls were done pretty well. It almost felt like you went into like somebody's mom's kitchen to go eat dinner or lunch or something like that. And the wait staff there, you could tell that they are. I'm not sure if they were from Russia, but they definitely had an accent. So I imagine they were from some Eastern European country, if not Russia itself. And what I ended up getting there was the beef stroganoff. Oof. Oh my gosh, that was so good. And it was a huge plate.
Dude, I'll tell you what, your plate, when I reviewed it for the show, and I was looking at the plate they show online versus what you got like twice that, man. It was this giant mass of steak and potatoes.
And potatoes, yeah. So I did ask the waitress what she would recommend as a side, because I think one of the side options were noodles that you could get with the beef stroganoff, and she's like, go with the mashed potatoes. So I'm like, well, you're the Russian lady, you work here. I'm not really sure if she's Russian. I'm assuming this.
Probably a safe bet.
I'm thinking it's a safe bet too. And she was right, man. Those mashed potatoes with that stroganoff sauce and the grass-fed beef. Oh yeah, man, that was delicious. And and she was like super nice, super polite. And it's kind of nice too, because like we were the only ones in this restaurant. And as you pointed out, they had a camera system, and like as we finished or whatever, you could tell like they must have been watching us, because right when we finished, she would come out and ask us if we needed anything else or anything like that. And is it first date worthy? I'm gonna say yes. I really am. And is it? I think you can meet a friend there. I think you could take for like a birthday or something, if it's just like you and one other person, I think you can do that type of thing. I wouldn't say like a big birthday party, but I think you can meet friends there. I think you can go out there on a date. And honestly, even though it's like a small cafe type of thing, I'm going to give it like a 9.5. Cause I think the value of the food that I got, cause that plate was huge, and the beef, they didn't skimp on the beef either. That's what she said. I'm surprised you didn't say, like, all right. Anyways, but they didn't skimp on the food or the meat or anything like that. And honestly, I'm going to give it I'm going to give it a 9, a solid 9, maybe 9.5.
All right. That's pretty good. For me, Masha and the Bear. So originated from a Russian cartoon, actually, interestingly enough, that was attempting to teach values. For me, I had the Hinkali Georgian style meat dumplings as well. Beef steak dumplings, massive, great value, great food. I think it was $14 for a meal that absolutely filled me, satiated my hunger, but I still had to go after a piece of that honey cake. 15 layers that I was easily able to count, like a soft version, a cake version of baklava. Delicious. And the wait staff was great. I would say for service, and this is interesting because you bring up some good points. We talk about this. Like for me, the ambiance, the atmosphere, probably a 7. It wasn't bad. It was fun because they did a personal touch on a Russian diner almost, small little place. So the atmosphere was probably a 7. The service, though, she did amazing. She was appropriate. You could tell by her use of the English language that she was still working on learning the transition of what it is to, can I give you plate when she's coming to get the empty plate. Clearly you knew what she meant, and we're not trying to correct her because we're there to enjoy the food. And she was giving great service, non-intrusive, absolutely attentive, made sure we had water, made sure we had everything we needed, quick when she needed to be. Food was amazing. Let me know my dumplings, my 5 Georgian style dumplings were going to take 20 minutes to prepare. How many restaurants do you go to where you're expecting a 2-minute delivery or a 10-minute delivery and it's 20 minutes and then you're frustrated? She let me, right off the bat, 20 minutes. I think it was out in 15, so she beat the time. Smart, intelligent. The hours of operation are semi-limited, so it does close currently, at least at 7 p.m. But so for service, an 8. Again, atmosphere a 7. Value, I can't wrong that there. That's a 9 in value for me. And first date worthy, man, if you're trying something new, it's not your formal diner. It's not that, but it's a fun event. Yeah, first date, if you're just going to try something new, have some fun, absolutely. Go with a friend. Unless you're looking for a beer or a glass of wine. That was the one drawback, no alcohol.
I did forget that part.
Which would just been like kick butt with my dinner, a glass of wine. And you mentioned the same thing with your stroganoff. That would have been like the one up at a notch with friends. So interestingly enough, it's more of a dating place where you're just trying to have a good conversation, have some fun, and then move on. And there is that, I think it was the Challenger's Bar next door. So if you wanted a beer before or afterwards, you could bounce right over there, probably literally and figuratively, and get a drink. But for me, overall value was an 8. And that's pretty impressive when you think about how we've continued to adapt and change our scope and our scale of ratings for restaurants for this little place. Don't go there thinking it's a 5-star restaurant. It is not, but you're also not paying $60 for a basic meal. I paid $14 for a great meal. So fun overall for me. 8. Would I take a date there? Yes.
So this is movies that define friendships. Or like our friendship or any friendship.
Originally thought of as our friendship, but as you mentioned, you're adapting it to just friendships in general, which is great. And then what are the favorite movies that would be used in that sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So for instance, I'm going to start off.
Start this off.
So I'm going to start this off with the movie The Interns.
All right.
So we have Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. They are sales reps, and they sell watches for. There's so many levels. This is why I think maybe why I picked this one for because I think it kind of relates to our friendship somewhat more than maybe some of my other friendships.
I'm not trying to sell watches, I'm trying to wear them.
I know, but anyways, they start off as like watch salesman, and they don't know that the company went out of business.
Oh my god!
So they're at a dinner at a dinner with one of their potential buyers, and their potential buyer has to tell them, hey, do you guys not know that your company went under? Like it doesn't exist anymore. And like and then like they're all getting all psyched up. They're singing like Alanis Morissette, like on their Psych Up song and everything. And one of them was like, dude, this is an awful song. The other was like, no, you just wait for the ballot, And it's funny. You have to actually see it. You said you never seen the movie.
Have not.
So you actually have to kind of see this part. But anyways, it's kind of funny. So they go in there and he's like, I'm going to order the Pappy tonight. And I'm so confident.
Pappy Van Winkle.
Pappy Van Winkle, yes. And so, any case, they find out they lost their jobs and stuff like that. So
still order the Pappy Van Winkle.
they still ordered it.
Well, do you remember what they paid? I'm guessing it was like $200 an ounce.
They never said what the price was in the movie.
Because when I bought it in Vegas, it was $200 an ounce.
So any case, one of them goes to sell like mattresses, and that was Owen Wilson's, and his boss was the guy from what's his name? He's in the movie Elf.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Oh my God, that's so funny because he's in a couple of my movies.
And so, anyways, and then Vince Vaughn is like he enrolls them both into the online Phoenix University of Phoenix online school, so that way they can apply for the internship at Google. And so basically, they're the only the oldest people in this internship because they're both in their 40s.
Holy shit.
And they go to Google and they're dealing with all these 18, 19, 20, 22-year-old people.
So they're twice our age.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so, but it's kind of cool though because they end up they're in this competition for the job, right? So there's hundreds of people in this internship, and only one group will actually get jobs at the end of the internship. And so they kind of build a relationship with their team, who are a bunch of misfits and stuff like that. But just the way they helped each other out, the one guy didn't stop. Vince Vaughn's character in the beginning did not stop dreaming, and he went over to help out Owen Wilson's and he talked to me dude, we got this opportunity. It's a dream. And Owen Wilson's I don't know anything about computers or any of this stuff. He was I don't know it either, but let's just go do it. And so he inspires his friend. Later on, Owen Wilson does the same thing because Vince Vaughn loses his way.
Sight.
Yeah, his sight. And so he goes and builds him back up. And then at the same time, they're mentors to these misfit teammates of theirs that are in their early 20s, just beginning life. And it just kind of reminded me a little bit of some of the values that we talk about as far as what's our brand and the watches and stuff like that, and how when it comes to friendship, you're not always hitting on the same cylinders, and sometimes you need to lean on a friend who's there to kind of breathe life back into you, have you start dreaming again and stuff like that. And so I think it just shows a really good back and forth and supportive friendship and being able to help out other people along the way.
All right. So my first movie, Will Ferrell's in it as well, but in a little bit larger role, is The Other Guys. Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell, two misfit cops, interestingly enough, in so many different ways. And to your point, in many circumstances, I'd love to be the Will Ferrell character, by the way, with all the crazy hot vibes he sends off. He's yeah, I lost my virginity to this woman. You might know her. What? And just all of these different things, shenanigans, because of the two, Mark Wahlberg is clearly the better looking, right? Or is he? Well, maybe not to all the hot women. But with that, to that point as well, there are always interests and intrigues and things that discombobulate individuals from the mainstream. And these two actually pull it together enough, not just to be the popular crowd, but to be the good guys. And really the other guys are the good guys. Fun movie, lots of action, tons of comedy. And I think that's one of the pieces about a good friendship, our friendship as well. There are going to be those days where you can't stop laughing, like the night they go to the bar and they're cops popping off rounds in the sky, singing, drinking, doing crazy stuff. For us, we're not like that. So we're like, hey man, let's go see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And then laugh for 2 hours straight. Who knew? It was a great movie.
It was.
And man, this guy's an Oscar winner and he should win more. I don't know about for this movie, but if you are not fully entertained with this movie, then you don't understand life. Like, that's all I can say.
Are you moving into The Unbearable Weight here?
Yeah, that's that one. But with the other guys, what I can tell you is the first couple of times I watched that, the same thing. You've got Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock jumping off a building. Jump, head for the bushes. And there's no bushes down there. Aim for the bushes. And they're like, nobody knows what the hell those two crackheads are thinking. Nope, still don't. To this day, it's hilarious. They just jump off a building, clearly high, maybe. Not the building, them. To their death, and then it's a bunch of other cops trying to battle for who's the biggest badass. And some of the realities there are, hey, your teammates, your friends, your partners, you have differences, but you still respect those differences and you accept those differences, and you actually don't judge from those differences. Right. There's going to be fights, there's going to be things. Again, it's not about always seeing eye to eye, but it's about finding that long-term bottom line. Is it Noah coming to me, hey man, you need to invest in crypto. That's real. And I'm just like, dude, you're effing crazy. And then I'm like, okay, shit, I need to be investing in crypto. And then me coming back and be like, hey dude, man, I know you're like all in on the crypto, but don't forget about, there's some regular stocks out there that are possibly doing well too. Think about everything you've told and preached to me, which is be well diversified. Make sure you're doing that too, and giving the back and forth. And just like being open. And that's the other side, is like these two guys are completely opposing each other as it starts, and at the end of the day they really were seeking the same end result, good, and good not just as in positive, but as in actually being good. And then at the end they work together and they deliver that. And I think that is a good friendship, as well as it's those friends who aren't just like, hey man, let's go get drunk and play some cards. It's those friends who are like, hey, dude, tonight I want to go get drunk and play some cards, but tomorrow, man, let's do something where we might educate people or mentor people, or go make burritos and deliver them, or do something for a charity, or hand out food, or make a difference. And I think that's a good friendship, is people who help each other be well-rounded, educate, hold them accountable, but aren't really. Bye, Felicia. I'll never forget that. Mark Wahlberg talking to Will Ferrell. Shut up. Bye, Felicia. I think he's trying to say goodbye to me. Shut up. It's hilarious. Great movie. And I to me, that's one of the best with a friendship, because of that, though, is because it's mature, and it's just good friends can literally be like, hey, you man, and the friend doesn't get offended beyond, man, why that are you saying that? And it's just like, man, you upset me, we'll explain it. Okay. And then the next day, man, they're like, hey man, you ready to go get drunk and play cards again, and then go hand in some breakfast burritos the next morning? Like it's a positive. It's like, hey, like there shit happens. Right. It's been a bad month, week, year, whatever. Let's get over this and rebuild.
That's a good one. So you mentioned it, and I think we both liked it a lot. So The Unbearable
Weight of Massive Talent
with Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal.
Yes.
That movie. I think it's here's the thing. Like the reason why I didn't go with that movie as my number one, which I really think it could have gone as my number one, is that I wanted to. The movie I chose with the interns is like they had a long-term friendship starting before like the actual internship happened. And with this one, it's a friendship that begins because Pedro's spoilers, by the way.
Oh yeah, dude, if it's not too late already, I'm going with the Gucci's.
But it's just like the way they build their friendship, and that's how it is sometimes when you meet people, is just you just click. And I think one of the biggest lines that I got out of it is Nicolas Cage says to Pedro's character was that you seem like one of those kind of friends where I can hang out with you and we may not talk for a long period of time, but then we can come back and just pick up right where we left off. And I think that's super important.
Have you ever seen Paddington 2?
It makes me want to be a better man.
Still haven't seen it, but suddenly I want to see it just to be a better man.
Now that that's been in that movie, that part's hilarious.
It's only hilarious because I won't spoil this one if you choose to, but there's a follow up to it, which is actually, man, the way that movie ended.
I think it ended on a great note for everybody.
Was perfect.
Yes.
Cheers to whoever wrote that movie. The director, of course, did a nice job because you don't get that result without the director. And then to the actors.
The actors did a phenomenal job.
They all did. Like all of them. Even the bad guys who you didn't care about. And then the one person I didn't care for in the damn movie was Demi Moore.
One of my favorite parts, though, is like, how much did you pay for that? That's grotesque. $6,000. I'll pay you $20,000.
What he's talking about is a wax figure of
Nicolas Cage from the Face Off.
From Face Off. What's the guy's name in Face Off? It's actually
Castor Troy.
Castor Troy, yes, of Castor Troy with his 2 golden. By the way, if you don't like guns and these guns don't do it for you, you really will never like guns. But Castor Troy's 2 golden custom-made guns, holding them out, and literally Pedro's like sitting there, and Nick Cage is like, "How much did you pay for this grotesque version of me with those 2 guns?" And he's like, $6,000, and he's like, "That's unbelievable. I'll give you 20."
He's like, "No,
hell no,
it's not for sale.
Hell no, the guns are worth more than that each. It's crazy."
There were so many great parts in there that you could tell, like they must have had a great time making that movie.
If they didn't, that's too bad. I hope they are friends.
I hope so too, because I think it comes off as a really good friend movie, and you can tell like at least the bond in that movie between those 2 characters, it does make for a great friendship. Like they, when Nicolas Cage gets there, he's like kind of like down and out, and like he wants to quit acting altogether. And like any good friend, Pedro's character helps build his friend back up and helps get his confidence back and all that stuff and get his groove back. And it's just.
I'm just thinking about that on the flip side. He's like, "Hey man, this secret agent stuff's it's pretty good. I think I'm made for this. I'm ready to do this. I think I can do this more." "Oh, that's good because we got another job for you. It starts right now." He's like, "Oh, hell no."
The part where they give him that knockout drug on his hand. He's like,
"Oh no,
I think I wiped my forehead." "No, I didn't. I think I'm okay." "No, I wiped my forehead." And he passes. He's about to pass out. And they try to get him to like.
He's not just about to. This guy was dead. He was literally out.
And then now she gets him to get back up. Action.
Just like in The Rock.
Yep, just like in The Rock.
All right.
Yeah, you have to know like a lot of Nicolas Cage movies, though, I think, to catch some of those minor jokes.
Let's not forget, they always introduce everyone else as Academy Award winner Annette Bening and Nick Cage. Let's not forget, it's Academy Award winning Nicolas Cage. The guy deserves his due diligence. Like his credit, he's earned it. He's had great roles for a long time, and he may not always pick the ones that are going to win all the awards, but he picks ones that give great results.
I agree with that. So, did you have a second movie?
Okay, so
a true second, I guess.
The next one is also with Will Ferrell. This is why I was laughing. And this is where it gets interesting, is because it's not about 2 friends. It's the Anchorman.
A group of friends, okay.
Will Ferrell, Steve Carell, Paul Rudd, David Coker, Christina Applegate, definitely not one of their friends. Jim Carrey and Will Smith play little roles in it. But this group of friends who are all like willing to die for each other, so to speak, some of them might, who knows?
Is that a trident?
But it's just really interesting. A great movie. There's the cast goes far beyond that because you have Vince Vaughn in there as well as number 2. And it's just great. But it's that same thing where even though they're not always the brightest individuals or they don't really know the answer, they're there to support.
So
and have fun, clearly. Yeah. Black Panther.
I won't,
60% of the time, 100% of the time.
I won't really catch all those references. I don't think I ever watched that movie all the way through.
Dude, you remember the dog eating the wheel of cheese?
No.
Dude, yeah. This little dog, the size of this bottle of scotch, eats a whole wheel of cheese, twice the size of the dog. And Will Ferrell's, I'm not even angry. I'm impressed. Till the dog had this little excrete.
So my true number 2, I think I'm going to give it to, this is really hard for me too, because like I was thinking like Shaun of the Dead, which I think the pairing of Sean Penn and Nick, what's his last, I think Nick Frost or Nick, forget the actor's last name. I know his first name is Nick.
Sean Pegg.
And
man, I don't even know the other guy's name.
But they have a really good friendship in Shaun of the Dead and also in Hot Fuzz.
And in World's End.
And The World's End, yeah. But I'm really going to give it to, like you, for a group. I'm going to give it to the Fast and Furious.
Ooh.
Because here, like Dom and I forget what Paul Walker's character's name is.
I just always know of him as Dead Paul Walker.
Any
the
case,
lucky bastard who got to act with Jordana Brewster.
So, it starts off as a cop and he's investigating whatever. But then what I really find what I like about Fast and the Furious and when it comes to friendship, and my camera just went out. It wasn't fully charged.
How did that happen?
Apparently, the last time I did the editing, I didn't turn off the camera after I was done, like pulling the information to my computer.
Do you want to pause? Give it 10 minutes?
Nah, we'll just finish it up.
All right.
I'll just we'll just leave myself blank. We'll do a funny still picture of me like I did for you. And if those of you who are listening, you're probably hearing this anyways. So anyhow,
yeah, you got to use last week's picture so the outfit doesn't match.
Like I did with you. Okay, done.
No, you really don't. I just
done.
thought, like, to this day, I'm like, why didn't you just use like a screenshot from the end?
Done. It's a done deal. I'll use last week's picture.
Maybe you change it out like every 2 minutes with a picture from a previous week. Boop, 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 boop.
So, any case,
Noah's doing his own personal fashion show.
What I really liked about the Fast and Furious is, there's a family you're born with, and really the family that you make. And I think what Dom talks about is like they're all family, and they become such tight friends. And I think that even holds true for most people. Like you have a close. I think most people probably have a close group of friends, or maybe one or two friends that they feel are just it's their family, and they're not really friends. It really is family, and that's why I picked the Fast and Furious.
All right. Well, I went in like the backwards direction because I didn't realize that you had picked your first one the first. So my ultimate first choice for me, and you can choose either version of these two that I'm about to name because I think they equally do a great job. But for me, it is either whether you choose the BBC version or Guy Ritchie's version. It is Sherlock Holmes. And you've got Sherlock and Watson. And to me, this is the ultimate friendship because these two guys literally stick together through thick and thin, yet they know that they are not the same people. They don't have the same goals. They're both on ultimately long-term, ideally different paths, but they are always loyal. They are true to themselves, but loyal to each other. And they don't miss out on anything with those choices because they know that that's where their heart is. beyond that, the only other thing I can say is there is this desire between true friends where they can go time. And I think that's great that you brought that up, whether it's in the weight of massive, the unbearable weight of massive talent, or any other number of other movies. There is this piece of a true friendship where you can go a duration, could be 2 weeks, could be 20 years. Without seeing this other individual, but you get back together and things just click. And the reason for that is because with that basic underlying moral and or just code that the friendship was built upon, there is never a fissure or a fracture. I don't know that you can really break one of these relationships, because the understanding is ultimately, hey, this is about acceptance. This is about us, and if the next 5 years we're not supposed to be on the same journey, that's cool. But I hope to see you in 5 years and one day. If not, we go from there. We move on. It's about growth. It's about support. It was never about, hey, man, I regretted any of this time. It's about, hey, man, I look back and every one of the days or weeks or months I was with you, I had fun, or I grew as a person, or you challenged me, or you gave me feedback you never wanted to give me in all of your life. And I've had that from Noah, and it's one of my favorite stories to actually freaking tell people. He hates it to this day. He'll never be like, yeah, man, go tell him the story. But
I don't think I'll ever like this story.
But it's real, because a true friend will tell you something that is the right thing to do, but could end the relationship. And bottom line, guys, if you ever hear that feedback from a friend and you let that friendship end, you were not the true friend. They were the true friend. They were just being honest, and they let you know from the get-go, you don't want to hear this. I don't want to say it. It's the right thing to do. And you don't even have to fully accept it, but you better damn well hear it and just have a response.
Yeah, to this day, I don't know.
That's Watson and Sherlock to me. They absolutely gave it and took it both different directions, and they both learned and grew and were fulfilled by each other, not detracted from life because of each other.
That's a good pick. That is a really good pick. I mean, obviously, since I went in reverse order than what you went in, or vice versa, I guess if my number 3 then would be then Shaun of the Dead.
Dude, you can't go wrong with Shaun of the Dead. The friendship's great. Hey, by the way, you want to go to the Winchester? Oh, now how am I going to fix this up? I was supposed to get a reservations for the fancy dinner restaurant. Where should we go? The Winchester. No, it's not a where should we go. Now it is. You're going with her and him.
I think what really shows their friendship, though, is at the end, Nick's character ends up being the zombie, and he keeps him as a friend / I'm not sure if I'd say pet, but
Dude.
And they play video games still out in the shed and stuff.
Yeah, but also the zombie isn't attacking him. Exactly. I think it shows there's this one rare chance where two people of different breeds actually.
But even before that, though, you could tell they're really good friends, because they'd say it, they joke around all the time. They played video games together, and then they also stood up for each other.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Oh!
You've got to stop doing that. I'll stop doing that when you stop laughing.
Yeah, truth.
So I think I think that's another good one right there.
That is a good one.
All right. Well, what is our topic for next week?
All right. Our topic for next week is, man, I say we just bite the bullet. We're going to review The Godfather.
Ooh.
Just the original one.
Okay.
Someday we can revisit the whole Godfather series, but the original Godfather, and why is it possibly considered the greatest movie of all time? And then for restaurants, and you've brought this up a couple times, why we haven't done it yet, I don't know. Mama Louise.
Okay.
And then finally, the Scotch. Man, you got to do something that a Godfather might drink. So, dude, we're going for the Dalmore 15.
All right, Dalmore 15 it is. All right, anything you want to say to the people?
Yes, absolutely. Drink responsibly. I would say don't drink and drive, but maybe you're just go-karting. Who knows?
Or riding a bike.
Yeah. You probably really shouldn't do that either. By the way, that crash might hurt more, but drink responsibly. Thank you for watching. Please give feedback. The feedback is absolutely something we can use and appreciate. Let us know things you want to see, things you don't want to see, things you like, things that may have offended you. Let us know where we should go or could go, where you'd like to see us go, and we'll keep bringing you more.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for especially listening to me now at this point, since you don't see an actual video of me anymore.
Just have a sock puppet up.
Well, I would, but you wouldn't be able to see it.
No, I mean like on the video. You just record a sock puppet. Thanks for listening to me.
Also,
Just put your head on it.
so yes, thanks for watching us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all those on Podbean, Google Podcast, Spotify, Audible Podcast. You guys really made our month this last month. It was our biggest month ever for downloads through an Audible source. So we greatly appreciate that. We also appreciate all of you subscribers and watchers on YouTube and Rumble. And if you do want to become a patron of ours, if you do like our show, if you go into our description, the very first link there down below is the hyperlink to Podbean. What is it called? I just lost my train of thought. Anyways, you can support us there. Just take the link. You can do it for as low as Podbean Patreon. This is what it is. Sorry.
I was like, I thought it was Podbean, man. I'm like, shit.
So Podbean Patreon.
Scotch slapped.
Yes, it did. I guess my 3 previous beers and now the Scotch has caught up to me a little bit. I don't know. Any case, yeah, you could take that link if you can become a member or gives do it like a minimum of $1 a month or more. We'll put that back into our podcast. And thank you, everyone, once again. Be safe out there. Drink responsibly. And same Scotch time, same Scotch channel. And
life is great.
Life is great.
Scotchman.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a patron member with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful